Hey guys, Sean here and welcome to the F1 Word. So the 2020 Formula 1 season is currently waiting to get underway, and at time of recording, the first 7 races of the season have been either postponed or cancelled. Nobody really knows when the season can realistically get going, and as a result, right now we've got a lot of time to fill. That kind of sent my mind into overdrive. Yep, worrying, I know, and it all got me thinking. What if we cancelled the first 7 races of previous F1 seasons? You know, things like what would the adjusted championship standings look like? I mean, you'd expect change, but just how much will we see? Well, I whacked a post up on Twitter earlier this week asking followers to name a season between 1997 and 2017. I don't know why that run of seasons specifically. It just seemed like a nice window to work in. But as is always the case with Twitter, every single year got mentioned, more or less. So I totted up the votes for each and picked out the most popular. So for this video, I'm going to be asking what happens if we cancel the first 7 races of the 2009 season. And that's for whatever reason, by the way. I do feel like I need to say this before I go any further, although it should be obvious. I am in no way whatsoever making light of the current situation across the world. And not for 1 second am I being blasé about it all. All it is stuff like this genuinely intrigues me, a little bit like the point swap I did back in January. It's just something that I find interesting and I'm sure that other people will too. And although it is still talking about cancelling races, it is in some ways a way to take my mind off what's going on in the world at the moment. But anyway, let's crack on with the video. Well, the season would have kicked off on the 21st of June at Silverstone, before moving on to Germany, Hungary and the European Grand Prix, which, as I'm sure many of you will remember, was held in Valencia. We would then go on to Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix and Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Then on the 27th of September it would be Singapore, followed by Japan and Brazil, and the season would be rounded off on the 1st of November at Abu Dhabi. And in the end, the 7 races that would have fallen off the calendar were Australia, Malaysia, China, Bahrain, Spain, Monaco and Turkey. First of all, let's remind ourselves how the season finished in 2009, and what a year that was, by the way. It was the year that kicked off with controversy around a double diffuser and ended with the ultimate fairy tale story. Despite Honda dropping out of F1 at the end of 2008, leaving us a team short and Jenson Button and Rubens Barrichello without seats, Button still went on to take his one and only F1 world title, and Brawn GP, of course, as they were known, went on to win the Constructors Championship too. Thank you, Ross Brawn, for buying the old Honda team out. What a year. Sebastian Vettel was championship runner-up on 84 points for Red Bull, with the second Brawn of Rubens Barrichello in 3rd. Mark Webber was 4th, Lewis Hamilton down in 5th, with Kimi Raikkonen in 6th place on 48 points. Nico Rosberg was in 7th place, with Jarno Trulli 8th, Fernando Alonso 9th, and Timo Glock rounding out the top 10. And as you can see there, Mark Webber 69.5 points, Nico Rosberg 34.5 points, and Jarno Trulli 32.5 points. That's because the Malaysian Grand Prix did not finish that year due to torrential rain, so half points were awarded as per the rules. Despite missing much of the second half of the season, Felipe Massa was 11th on 22 points, Heikki Kovalainen was 12th, Nick Heidfeld 13th, Robert Kubica in 14th there, 17 points for him. Giancarlo Fisichella was 15th, it was 16th for Sebastian Buemi. Adrian Sutil, 17th place, 5 points for him. Kamui Kobayashi, what a legend. 3 points for him on the board, 18th place. Sebastian Bourdais was 19th on 2 points. And then Kazuki Nakajima rounds out the top 20 on no points. I'm only going to do a top 20 in this, by the way. We've got Nelson Piquet Jr., Antonio Liuzzi, Romain Grosjean, Jaime Alguersuari, and Luca Badoa making up the field of 25 drivers as it was that year, with multiple drivers stepping in to fill in for others. And they all had no points whatsoever. Right then, let's get on to the good stuff. I will again just do the top 20 as non-point scorers. Nakajima, Piquet Jr., Liuzzi, Grosjean, Alguersuari and Badoa are still going to be non-point scorers regardless of this experiment. And actually on points, just a quick reminder that the scoring system in 2009 was 10 points for the win, 8 for second, 6 for third, and then 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 down to 8th place. Just for the sake of transparency as well, I guess. I did do all the maths myself. I know, you can be proud, it's amazing. But I did then proofread it, or double check it is probably a better way to put it, against the Formula 1 points website that you guys recommended when I did the point swap. So thank you very much for bringing that site to my attention. It's been a massive help. Anyway, we'll work backwards, starting with Kazuki Nakajima in 20th and Sebastian Bourdais in 19th. Both of them with no points. What a dramatic and exciting start that was. Wow. Trust me, it does get better. Sebastian Buemi drops a couple of places to 18th, but 3 points on the board. Kamui Kobayashi actually moves up a place into 17th. Adrian Sutil up into 16th place. 5 points for him and 3 points for Kobayashi. Giancarlo Fisichella stays in 15th place, but with 8 points on the board. Those 8 points, of course, coming in Belgium, where he got pole position for Force India. God, it was a season of fairy tales. Not so much for poor Felipe Massa, of course. That horrific accident in Hungary. Quite frankly, very lucky to be alive. But because obviously he needed to recover from that, he missed all but 2 races in this revised calendar, if you like. But he did still pick up 11 points, but did drop down 3 places as well. Timo Glock also dropped 3 places on 11 points in 13th place. Nick Heidfeld, 12th place. He's moved up 13 points for him. 13 points as well for Jarno Trulli, but he drops 3 places to 11th place. Quite a fall for him. But obviously with this calendar being revised and us kicking out those first 7 races, Trulli would lose his podium finishes in Australia and Bahrain. So yeah, big losses for him there. But that is your bottom half of the table. Again, obviously we've got the non-point scorers to take into account, but there's not really much point mentioning them too much, although that is the 3rd time I've now mentioned them, so obviously they mean a lot to me, especially good old Romain Grosjean down there. But into the top 10, Fernando Alonso kicks us off here. He's dropped 1 place from 9th place to 10th. That's 1 place. Well done, Sean. 15 points on the board for him. 15 points as well for Robert Kubica in 9th, who is the biggest winner in all of this. Well, sort of, in terms of positions gained anyway, up 5 places in total. Also making a big jump is Heikki Kovalainen, up 4 places to 8th for McLaren. 18 points on the board for him as well, so looks better than his season actually was. Let's put it that way. And then we've got Nico Rosberg in 7th place. He stays in 7th place, 23 points for him, but this is where it all gets incredibly interesting. The actual 2009 World Champion, if we cancelled the first 7 races, would have dropped 5 places to 6th place and just 34 points. Wow, I'm going to say a bit more on that a little bit later. Kimi Raikkonen, 5th place, 39 points, up 1 place for him. Lewis Hamilton also climbing 1 place into 4th place, 40 points, just 1 clear of Kimi. And then on to the top 3 in this adjusted, weird, alternate reality. Rubens Barrichello was 3rd, stays 3rd, 42 points on the board for him, but he just misses out on that runners-up spot through countback. Because in 2nd place, and you can probably see where this is going, it's Mark Webber, 42 points, but the Aussie finishes a place above Barrichello because he managed to pick up a couple of 2nd places, whereas Barrichello's best result away from his wins was a 3rd place at Silverstone. Which means, surprise, surprise, your alternate reality world champion of 2009 is Sebastian Vettel, 55 points. And of course, you've probably worked this out yourself, up 1 place as well. We will have a quick look at the revised Constructors' Championship. We may as well, we've come this far. As is quite obvious, Red Bull would have been Constructors' Champions, 97 points for them, up 1 place. Brawn would drop 1 place to be runners-up, 76 points. McLaren stay 3rd on 58 points, with Ferrari staying in 4th place on 50 points. BMW Sauber up to 5th on 28 points as a gain of 1 place, with Toyota dropping below them on 27. And then apart from the points being adjusted, the rest of the teams all stayed where they would have been in the official 2009 standings. So 7th for Williams, 8th place for Renault, 9th for Force India, and Toro Rosso in 10th place with 3 points. So there we have it then. As I say, Sebastian Vettel would have taken the title in 2009, and actual real world champion Jenson Button would have dropped all the way down to 6th place. Honestly, I kind of expected to see a change of champion, given how much Brawn struggled to keep up with development as the season ran on, but I did not expect JB to drop like a stone in the way that he has in the adjusted standings. And I didn't realise just how reliant he was on that first half of the season for the title. Of course, I knew that was the main reason really why he won the title in the end. He had such an incredible start. What was it? 6 wins from the first 7 races. But I was still surprised going through this to see him pick up just 34 points in the final 10 races. Like I say, I know we all kind of know these things, but it's not until I sort of sit down and lay all the numbers out that you see just how dramatic a change there was. But it also highlights just how much that McLaren improved in 2009. It was nowhere early doors in the season, yet Lewis Hamilton would have been a title contender if those first 7 races were cancelled. On the championship fight, this is well worth a mention. The real world 2009 season saw the title wrapped up in Brazil. That's the penultimate round. However, in this alternate reality, we would have had a title decider in Abu Dhabi with 4 drivers still in the hunt. Vettel would have arrived at Yas Marina on 45 points, with Hamilton just 5 points behind in 2nd place, Raikkonen a point further back in 3rd, and Barrichello 8 points off the top in 4th place. But with Vettel taking the win, leading home a Red Bull 1-2, it was all kind of academic in the end. But hey, it was still a title decider. Button did take the final step on the podium in that race, with teammate Barrichello finishing 4th. And the other title hopeful, Lewis Hamilton, failed to finish. And just to mention, Jenson Button would not have been in title contention in that final race. Couple of other stats for you. You know how much I love going through stats. This revised championship season would have seen Button take no wins all year, with Vettel taking 3 and Webber, Barrichello and Hamilton each taking 2, with Kimi Raikkonen picking up 1 win. Jumping back to reality though, and the real 2009 season, we saw a few things come to the end once that was all wrapped up. Brawn, as I'm sure you'll remember, were bought out by Mercedes, meaning the Brawn GP name disappeared after just 1 season. Again, what a season though. We also saw BMW and Toyota walk away from the sport at the end of the year. It was also the final season to use the top 8 point scoring system, because of course from 2010 F1 switched to the system we all know so well today, which is 25 points for the win all the way down to 1 point for 10th place. And the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was the last ever F1 race, for now at least, to feature a refueling pit stop, and that final pit stop for fuel was made by Jarno Trulli on lap 42. Thank you, Wikipedia. And finally, Giancarlo Fisichella made the call to retire at the end of the season, bringing to an end a career that started in Australia in 1996 and saw the Italian pick up 4 pole positions, 3 wins, 19 podiums, a couple of fastest laps as well, and a total of 275 points across 229 starts. And he also raced for some pretty famous names too: Minardi, Jordan, Benetton, Sauber, Renault, Force India, and even a brief stint at Ferrari as he filled in for Felipe Massa. So there we have it then. I have got to say this, I cannot recommend highly enough watching the 2009 season review. There is a DVD out there somewhere, I'm sure. In fact, I think I have it. You can't borrow it because I might have to watch that myself this afternoon. And I'm pretty sure it's on F1 TV as well, but definitely give it a watch. It's a great season. And as I've said already a couple of times in this, it's a great story as well. But that is it then for this little experiment, I guess. As I was saying earlier, we've got a lot of time to try and fill over the next few weeks and months, so there will be more stuff like this over the coming weeks. As ever though, you can leave your thoughts down in the comment section and let me know what your memories are of the 2009 season. Don't forget, you can of course follow me over on social media, with all of the links you need for that in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.